Live, 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 live. We are alive, everyone. Look, well, Happy New Year soon. It's December 28th for those watching in the future. Myself, Brad Hightower, Dr. Daniel Fox, Chris Sauber's jumping on. Hopefully, one of the Latinos and clinical research representatives will be jumping on soon. But if not, me and Chris, we're on there also. So, uh, SOS is approaching. It's like about a month out, which is insane. Here's Chris. Chris jump on live late, but SOS about a month out, guys, and we got a couple things to announce. We got I mean, there's a lot we can discuss. Dr. Fox, I know you're the most organized of the bunch, so do you
Let's
like
just say,
take it
yeah,
from
this
here?
holiday season. Whoa, Chris, what are you drinking, man?
It's just coffee.
Oh man, this holiday season has not been an off season for SOS. I'm sure you guys saw over the last 2 weeks, IQVIA is starting to sponsor. We got Claravest, it's a PE firm. They're sponsoring. We've got eClinPro, another CTMS. They're sponsoring. It puts us up to, I think, 16, 15 or 16 now. And we have a few more meetings in the next few weeks. So the sponsorships have been crazy. We had some scholarships to give away. We had some donated tickets from sites that are not coming anymore. And so we decided to give a holiday giveaway. We call it a very merry research giveaway. And then what happened was people started coming to me saying, I want to give money to help people come to SOS. We literally had people, they wanted to be anonymous. Here's $1,000. Here's $500. Help people get an airline ticket. Help people come. Help people travel. So we turned the Very Merry Research giveaway into not only a free registration for SOS, but also a $500 travel stipend to help people come to SOS. And that has been very enlightening. It's been so humbling to see the community come together to help people who really want to have a voice who can't afford to come. And I think that that has been that's pretty much been my holiday. Everyone is coordinating a lot of very good cheer to help people have a voice so they can come to SOS.
So just to give before we get into some of the details, just to give like a bird's eye overview. So it's going to be February 2nd is the actual event, but the night before, February 1st is a pre-party. I think we got the location basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's like unofficial. I don't know if we'll announce it yet, but we've got the location for that. I think. And then we've got the actual event February 2nd. And then we've got the official after party the night of February 2nd. So a lot of people have been asking what's going on. Just know there's going to be a lot of partying, a lot of learning, a lot of networking. And the topics are what you guys voted on. Like there's no ulterior motive here. We didn't choose topics based on what each of us individually want to sell you. There's nothing we want to sell you, believe it or not. Well, some of us maybe, but we can talk. But that's not the point. The point was to actually provide the topics for a conference that we would all want to go to. Because I got fed up with these conferences. I just stopped going altogether. And it'd be nice to create something that you actually want to go to. And I figured if I would want to go to this, there's got to be others out there that would want to go. And I'm sure you guys feel the same way about this.
Yeah, I mean, again, like we said it before, but not something that's not just thinly veiled marketing. And again, not that there won't be tools and vendors that are there that may be useful for you as a site. I think we try to do a good job of making sure that it's good stuff that we trust and we know is going to be good for sites, and not a lot of crap. There's a lot of crap out there. So I think we've tried to be smart in sort of curating even who the sponsors are that are involved. So Fox, I appreciate all the work you've put in, because I know I haven't been around as much as I'd like to be. So publicly, thank you for all the work you've been doing, man.
Salute to Fox, man. These
Thank
sponsors
you.
wouldn't have happened without you, for
We can't do this together. That's been, and if you take a look at those sponsors, there are probably just as many sponsors that were rejected than approved, because they came in with these expectations. They thought it was a trade show. They wanted a list of all of our attendees, and we said, hell no. So we've got some questions here if you want.
Nemo, this is perfect. Can anyone attend? Not only Nemo, can anyone attend? This is the only conference I'm aware of in our industry that is made for the frontline workers first. Like, yeah, the site owners, but the directors, a lot of the site owners coming are like Brad, Fox, and Chris and myself. Like, we're also the frontline workers. And my coordinators are coming. Like, most conferences price out coordinators, much less research assistants. For my site, everyone's coming, all of them. I know other sites are bringing all their staff. Like, these are the unheard voices in our industry. And in this DCT era where everyone's selling better shovels when we don't really need better shovels, and no one bothers to ask the frontline workers what tools they actually need. They're not going to tell you a better shovel. They're going to tell you other stuff.
I don't know if you saw the pie chart, Dan, but all of our attendees were invited to fill out a survey to see like where they were from and what they were doing. And out of the responses that we had, over half, if you combine the universities and the site level workers, over half of the attendees are sites. Over half. And that could be even more. Yeah.
From those sites, probably people like Nemo. I'm research study assistant and would like to attend. Where can I get more info? SaveOurSites.com. Right here,
Mhm.
Nemo. And I mean, you guys want to talk about the holiday cheer? What did you call it?
A very merry research is what we called it. Why not? So Nemo, you should do that.
There's still time for Nemo.
There's still time, Nemo. We've
How about
got
free, Nemo?
a holiday giveaway right now. We had Real Time CTMS. They purchased scholarships for our attendees. We've got people who donated tickets. We've got a travel giveaway, $500 per person that we're giving away to 10 people. All you have to do, put your name in the hat and answer one question. If you had one Christmas wish, how would you save our sites? And what
So,
would you want to see?
so Dr. Fox and Brad, you both attend way more conferences than I do and Dan does. Has any conference, as far as you know, ever done something like this?
I attended one that gave away some Southwest Airlines gift cards at the conference.
Okay, so they were already there. They already purchased their tickets and such. So, I've never heard of something like this.
No, I don't think I've seen anything at this, and especially at this scale too. Like, I don't know. I'm sure stuff gets given away, behind the scenes or whatever, or comped, but to sort of open it up this way. I mean, look, we want people to come. We're not necessarily trying to run a conference throwing business and necessarily milk everyone out of every nickel and dime. Like we
if we're
want
doing
to
that, the
actually
tickets would cost 10 times as much.
That's right.
I mean, taking issue with something Dan said. Dan says that the coordinators and the assistants are priced out of going to these conferences. Hell, I'm priced out of going to some of these conferences. So,
well, and I think that's one thing to say is I've been monitoring LinkedIn for the past 2 weeks, the holiday season. I don't see another conference doing a giveaway, trying to give a voice to the voiceless. I haven't, it was silent.
Yep.
Marilyn says, "Where do I enter?" Nemo says the same.
Yep. So message Brad, Dan, or I and answer that question. Just say, hey, I'd like to enter into the contest. And we'll be looking at that. You've got about 24 hours. So 24 hours, we're going to take a look. And
so do they give a pitch on why they should be chosen, or is it just a random drawing? How's this work?
You answer that one question. If you had one Christmas wish, how would you save our sites?
Yeah. A lot of people have given pitches of why they should, and they included that answer to that question too.
Some of them involved Christmas trees in ways that I would never unsee again.
Oh my gosh. I actually forgot about that for a day. Fox brought it back.
No, it's been very heartwarming.
Crazy.
These entries, everyone, to all of you people, to everyone out there who answered the question and who want to contribute and who want to join, it has been very heartwarming. We've had people they work at CROs that are nominating sites that got them started up and running, want their sites to have better opportunities. We've got people without jobs wanting to come to bring their voice, maybe look for a job. we've got CROs, we've got sponsors, we have site leaders, we have a lot of CRCs, a lot of people. They want to come. They need some help, and so it's going to be a good Christmas giveaway.
So, do you want to go read, since Chris asked, do you want to read some of the submissions already? Keep them anonymous, but maybe read just an example of some of the
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah. And just so everyone knows, a lot of these people who have entered, they've asked to remain anonymous. We were going to announce names and say congratulations. No, I don't want my name to be on here. I'd rather remain anonymous. So, and we respect that, but we can read their answers, and we can tell you maybe where they came from. So this is a really good one. I like this one, and I won't read the entire thing, but this said, if I were to dream of a Christmas miracle to support clinical research sites, it would be seeing everyone truly value and treat the sites as genuine partners. I firmly believe that involving sites in decision making, it empowers them. They'd step up, take charge, and lead with passion as they're crucial to the trial's success. So again, there was another one. I really liked it. It was, let's see. Sites would be better. Sites would have better publicity so that people know about clinical research and trials more. It's a huge industry, but unless you're already involved with pharma, you don't know or hear anything about it. There was
even people in healthcare and pharma don't understand. It's crazy. The more you talk to people, but I've never understood that either. Like, we need more patients. Why aren't sites a more sought after commodity? Yeah, I like that answer.
There
Yeah,
was one.
if more community clinicians knew that they could actually add research to their private practice, they would do it. They just all think you have to submit grants and do all this stuff because that's what they were taught in medical school. But that's not how it works in private industry. And that's where that fair market value that we all hate gets confounded and thrown in as a roadblock to contract negotiations. There's no such thing as FMV when it comes to private research.
But like I think I said this to you recently, Dan. I don't hear that expression anymore. I haven't heard that in
Well, Nick,
like a year and a half.
the dude I interviewed yesterday, that was like his biggest gripe is that FMV is like almost every time he negotiates contract, it's like thrown.
Weird.
We
'Cause I
see
do
it
so
fairly
many.
regularly.
I do that.
It
I
is.
do so many. I used to hear it like almost every budget. I haven't heard it.
Maybe they know
Year
you
and a
now.
half. You too,
You've
Brad?
become
Well, you
it.
have to
You've
push
heard it?
back pretty hard, but they'll always play the FMB card. I just got to the point where they don't even have to play it. I'll say, here it is. Escalate to the sponsor. I'll talk to you when you're done.
Well, maybe because I started doing something using their words against them. Maybe this can help somebody. I give them a range. Listen, this is what sponsors pay. Here is fair market value. This is the lowest I've seen. This is the highest seen. We're asking for
So you've
in
got
the
your
middle.
own benchmark. So they
Yeah,
probably
so
don't
this is
push
fair
back.
market value as far as I recognize it. And they
I
don't even
just-
say it back to me anymore.
I cite the United States versus Cartwright Supreme Court ruling about what fair market value is, and then they don't talk to me anymore. They just send me off to a lawyer. So that's pretty much.
Hey, they're
We've got questions if you want to.
We do got questions. Yeah, let's go
Yeah.
to questions before we get more heated about FMV. Where do I enter? Okay, look, there's still a day to get your free ticket. Like, just you heard Fox. If you didn't replay, rewind, and share with someone. Unfortunately, I won't be able to attend. Will there be a live stream I can follow remotely? Not this year, but there will be content, and we will release the content. So it's not really live. I have a surprise for my panel. I think I'm going live. One of my panels. But so kind of, but not really, Kelly. But 2025, we hope so. Right? Am I right?
You're right. And Kelly, just so you know, the coordinating a live event at a conference with an in-person event is the same cost as 2 conferences put together. So it's very, very expensive. It's much more expensive than a lot of people think. And so it's going to be a challenge to try to get that up and running.
Can you tell how to recruit patients? In UK, as NHS is free, it is not easy to convince patients. There's a panel on patient recruitment. It will be recorded.
Yeah, but his scenario is entirely different than the United States.
So Mar, what I can say is we've got some UK sites in the CRP in partnership, and you're right, that is a challenge. There are some strategies that you can do, and I can also say those UK sites are going to be at Save Our Sites. So if you're there, they're going to be right there talking about that exact same thing, probably at the panel.
So
Well-
what doesn't change is the fundamentals, in my opinion, like talking to providers, getting very grassroots, creating content that's local, that's not really asking for something, but giving back to the community. I think every research site should have their own YouTube channel and not posting what studies they're doing, but interviewing people from the community, just being a community resource. Later today, that's what I'm going to do, going to do one of these things. We're going to broadcast it live on Yuma Clinical Trials Instagram. So no matter where you are, this kind of stuff's going to work. It's just counterintuitive.
So who's on the patient recruitment panel? It's Judy and who else?
Judy and some panelists.
Okay, so are they going to be, because we've had this conversation many times, Dan, in terms of why do patients participate in research, right? Half of them, it's for the payment, right? For the patient payment. So are they going to be honest about this at the conference, unlike other conferences?
I think half of it is payments in a lot of CNS indications. Because what I used to think
I said half.
Yeah, I used to think that until I started doing like non-psych studies, and
sure,
it's
more
probably
normal.
just more like 20% do it for the money.
Okay, 20%, then probably a combination after that, right? Does this help me? And sure, the extra money could help as well.
They want help. They want, like, right now we're doing weight loss study. But no one's doing it for the money.
Sure.
In that study, they're all doing it to lose weight.
Oncology the same. Oncology
when you start to go to the phase 4, the terminal cancer patients, it's not about the money.
Oh, of course not.
It's about making sure your grandchildren don't get what you had, and there's a lot of altruism around there. It all depends on the indication that you're in. You're right. So pain, psychedelics, and vaccines are highly revenue driven for patients. And Mar, this is kind of what you're getting into. The answer for you is you have to know your patient. You have to know what drives
what's driving them. Yep.
And especially when you're in NHS, where the free healthcare isn't a thing because you have NHS. It's all about understanding what drives the patient, what interests them in being part of your trial.
Yeah, and the reason they think they're rats or guinea pigs is because the majority of ads are targeting patients like, this is what we have, this is why you should do it. There's no human factor, and that's one of the things that I'm trying to do around our content for my site. Like, we're interviewing Burger Theory today, a local burger shop here in Yuma. We're going to talk nothing about research. Nothing. In the beginning, we'll have like a 30-second, hey, we do studies, text us, and at the end too. The rest of the 30-minute, tell us about your restaurant. Tell us about why you started this. And we want people from the community to watch, and then they'll attribute us as humans and not researchers that experiment on people. It's just, you got to do counterintuitive things in order to get people to not feel like they're rats, which is what Mars getting at. And most sites, 99% of sites don't do this.
Yeah. Well, if you approach a patient when you're trying to recruit them for a trial, you're already on your way to failure. It's all about community trust and brand development. You have to get yourself out there in the community, be known so that research is not a mystery. And then when a trial comes and you're ready to do it, the patients already know you and they're already willing to work with you. So that helps for the majority of the patients, but that costs money. And since the current industry is founded off of transactional per trial kind of a system, it's really hard for sites to afford that kind of an infrastructure unless they're really well established.
Another way to get past this rat stigma, guinea pig stigma, is to directly approach the providers in the community, because if it's coming from them, the patients are not getting that same vibe.
I mean, I still think that's the best way. And unfortunately, you can't automate it. You can't decentralize it. It really, I still find, as much as humanly possible, work through that physician, through their clinic. And you know, call it what you want, but I mean, the doctor they know their patient, they can, you know, describe it in a way that relates to them, and then they can make an informed decision. But so often I find people are, you know, partly altruistic and partly it was recommended to them by their doctor and they're going to listen to their doctor. They trust them. Again, I think that's the key.
And the patients themselves. So those first 2 or 3 randos are the hardest, but once you get them, even if you don't have another provider source, those 3 patients all have family and friends. If you treat them well and encourage them to refer, like a lot of our patients, unless we tell them, they don't know that we want referrals. Like they honestly think that we don't want referral. Like who would want more work, you know? So you have to actually tell them, hey, we would appreciate any referrals. Once you say that, they're like, yeah, I do know a few people that might be interested. You'd be amazed how that works.
And the first patient's always the toughest to get. Once you get that, well, I don't know what it is. It's like it's like the beans for Jack and the Beanstalk. Once you get one bean, the other beans come more easily.
So
I shouldn't
do you
say
guys
easily.
do you guys know what a Texas sheet cake is?
Fox, this is a child-friendly show.
No, wrong Texas sheet cake, Brad. So Texas sheet cake, it's pretty much like a really flat cake that looks like a brownie, right? I can't tell you how many Texas sheet cakes have enhanced study enrollment when you send those to the local community hospitals and clinics and doctors' offices. And it's not that here's a Texas sheet cake, please help me enroll. It's here's a Texas sheet cake. I'm research. It's nice to meet you. Here's another Texas sheet cake. Hey, let's build a friendship. By the 4th Texas sheet cake, they want to help you. And they will bring you trials. And
they're fat enough to qualify for Dan's obesity trial too.
Yeah. Well, and just don't send it to an endo office because they kind of but
that's true. Speaking of cake, I interviewed a cheesecake store owner in Yuma as one of our first episodes, and I kid you not, I posted that video. The next day we got a call. It was the owner's dad that had diabetes that wanted to do the trial too. So that, it works.
You're just playing on human nature, Dr. Fox. I mean, when you give somebody something, they tend to want to provide something in return. Dan and I have done this. Bring cookies to doctors' offices to speak with the doctor for 2 minutes about something, right? Whether it be patients or coming to work with us, and the office staff try to oblige you and set up a moment for you to meet with the doctor when you bring them gift cards to Starbucks or.
Well, I'm telling it's business development psychology 101, and you're right, Chris. There's a lot of psychology behind it, but the point is and I've worked at a doctor's office. As soon as someone even has the inkling that you're trying to use them, they will shut you down. You have to build a relationship, whether it's with gift cards, cookies, or even conversation, being a friend. I mean, just giving someone your ear can do wonders. But coming in and expecting a transaction, hey, I need something from you, give it to me, you'll be shut down right away.
You know what?
Of course, that's a bad approach.
In all business development, this is what this is to sales. Let's call it sales. People don't understand the law of averages. Like, you just need to understand how many presentations you have to give in order to get X people into a study in this example. Like, so when you don't have enough, your law of averages working against you. So you got one person, now you come off as desperate. But if you have enough shots put out, right, just know that 20% of them are going to sink. So you're not desperate on each individual, because they could smell that. Humans can smell desperation,
especially women. Anybody who's said, hey, you want to go out sometime?
Women are the best at this, but if you understand law of averages, it's not a one-on-one sales thing like high pressure, hey, come in today and do the study. No, it's take your time. Then they feel like you're not desperate, and then they're like, well, maybe there is something here, because he or she didn't come off as pushy or anything.
Well, I think that goes back to Fox's point earlier about how, like, the way the industry and the payments work, everything is so transactional. But I think if you want to be an above average site, you've got to invest in yourself by doing these things, which, look, there's not a line item for that maybe in a budget, but who cares? You've got to do it because it's good for your business. It's good for your community, to make those relationships. And it can be a long-term play, I guess,
And
if that's how you
honestly,
want to say it. But
we've got a sponsor who specializes in that. So I look forward to that webinar. I'm not plugging any sponsor. I'm just
you don't
saying
wanna
that
plug
content is there.
Well, who is it? Which one is it?
Digital Auxiliaris, DAX.
Sick.
So they pride themselves in website design and helping sites to create overall brand, not just study specific. So and having a conversation with them, I look forward to that webinar. Just wait till we get to record that one. That'd be pretty cool.
Hit me up, Digox. There's some stuff every site can do in their community.
Hey, short commercial break real quick. So Folgers, that's all I used to drink. Dan used to laugh at me like he's laughing right now.
It's
like,
awful,
we gotta get
man.
we gotta get you some good coffee. So Dan, this is like the best coffee I've had.
Is it the one
Dan
Mandora
sent me
sent you?
Dan sent me some coffee from Nicaragua. It's really good.
You see, Chris?
Much better than Folgers.
Yeah, but if you don't know because you don't try, you're just gonna think Folgers is like all it is. No,
Yeah,
that's
nasty.
It's good to open your palate. Yeah, they always said Folgers is like when they make coffee, they scrape the stuff at the bottom of the barrel and put it in a Folgers can.
Yeah,
So
now I have a comparison, and it's nasty.
So to use this as an analogy for healthcare and research is not really healthcare, but you know how like the experience our patients get when they do one of our studies? Like they're there 2-3 hours, they're thorough exam, they get eye exam, they get all kinds of stuff that the providers never do. That's like the equivalent of like that Nicaragua coffee versus them going to their provider, 5 minutes in and out, boom, you're young, just take vitamins, you're okay. That's Folgers experience. We got the Nicaragua gourmet coffee experience.
There you go. Good analogy.
There you go, Mar. That's how they're not rats. You just got to get them in there and show them that there's better coffee out there than Folgers.
For prisoners.
I saw a question from Xena. Did you see Xena come up?
Here's a big ass one though. First, I know I haven't seen Xena. Is Xena like farther up or?
Xena Seraph. Yeah, it was through LinkedIn.
Oh, here we go. My bad, Xena. Okay, hold on. We skipped over you. A lot of partying. That's something Berliners must go to. Also, can you guys put the agenda here? The agenda is try not to get like too messed up and make it for the panel.
It's very close, Xena. We've got the agenda. It's very, very close. We're putting up some final polishes on timing and things like that to confirm panels, but it's on the way. And a big congratulations to Yendu for entering the U.S. market. I think that we all saw that, and we really look forward to seeing what Yendu can do in the U.S.
I was gonna leave a bad "Welcome to America" joke, but I decided against it. But congrats, Xena.
On the party side of it, there's a get together the night before and then the day of, right?
Yeah, night before official pre-party. We got a location, I think, picked out. We just haven't announced it formally. And then the night after the event, like an hour after, the night, like an hour when it's done, we're gonna go do an official after party, networking, mixers. It's gonna be fun.
Are both of these open bar?
That'd be a Fox question, because if it was a Dan one, it'd be hell yeah.
If we got the money. So one thing I can say is IQVIA Technologies, they did the pre-party. The post-party is on us, Chris. So if you want to be an open bar, it's on us.
I was asking. I have yet to make one decision for this, and I don't intend to make any. So I was asking.
I mean, I wouldn't go open bar beforehand. You don't want to get too messed up the day before because it's going to be a pretty intense day.
Didn't you just say it is? IQVIA's. Did you say
IQVIA is going? IQVIA is the official sponsor of the
night before
the pre-registration party or the pre-party or whatever you want to call it.
Okay, but they haven't designated whether it's open bar or what have you.
No, we're still in the planning stages for that.
Okay,
but I know there's some really fun networking, engaging activities that are in the works from the people. So if you come to the pre-party, prepare to go through some activities, meet people, have fun. It's going to be a good event.
Now, I've been to a number of investigator meetings, and the night before is always an open bar, and during each meeting is an open bar. It's funny because you see a number of investigators get kind of smashed, but I was just curious if this is going to work the same way. But if there is a sponsor, a Kivia, a CRO sponsor, um, I would think that's the only purpose to sponsoring is to have an open bar.
Well, I mean, not everyone drinks, for one thing.
Well,
But-
drink soda,
I mean, so
milkshakes galore.
Like,
Milkshake.
I just like that we're doing something. I guess sort of official. Like I know the last couple of conferences I went to, I'm like looking like where's the party at? Like I had a hard time, and if you did, like you had to opt in beforehand, pay an extra fee, and it was a whole thing. But like,
Good point, man.
part of the reason was like I want to go. I don't just want to sit through lectures. I want to like bullshit. I want to talk to people. I want to learn. I want to exchange contact info. So to have something that's structured, look, you don't come and meet, go off and do your own thing, like whatever. But at least there's a place that everyone's going to be at, and then you can.
I'm so glad you brought that up, man. The last conference I went to, there's like all these secret after party. Oh, you got to be invited. You're not part of the club. So nobody really has any place to go unless they're like the elitists. So this is like everybody come and drink. This is the after party is the bar that's responsible for me not being a doctor. That's why my GPA is like what it was because of that place, Gentle Benz.
Spent a lot of hours there, eh, Dan?
Yeah, more than in the library.
So I got to ask, you're not going to enter, but if you had one Christmas wish, what would you do to save our sites? What would you wish to save our sites?
Man, I would do this. I mean, what we're doing, which is trying to create some community and, I guess just community, for lack of a better word, amongst the site sort of ecosystem, right? Like, a rising tide raises all ships. Why can't we all get together, share what works, take it back to our communities, and be better at our jobs? I think ultimately that's what I wanted since I started doing this. Whenever Dan was the only person I could find that was even talking about clinical trials, let's get more people. Let's all learn from each other. I can't tell you how many nuggets of information I've learned just from being open and talking to other sites. And I feel like we don't do that enough.
My next, I'll go.
Chris, you're next, man.
So my biggest complaint since I started in this industry 15 years ago is standardization. By far, that's my biggest complaint. Where things vary from sponsor to sponsor, the rules change. You have no idea what is acceptable with this sponsor because this sponsor was something else. And when you're first starting out in the industry, and especially as a new site or new employee or new doctor, what have you, it's very frustrating, right? Well, it was okay this way. Well, and guess what? It's not okay here, right? I mean, there are some general rules, right, in terms of the FDA, but even those are very vague if you read the CFR. So some standardization would go a long way as far as, in my opinion, in making it more desirable or at least achievable to work in the industry, and less doctors would get frustrated. Now, personally, as for the services that we offer, I don't know if I'd want that. It may actually work against the business that I offer and Dan offers, consulting service, because if there was standardization amongst all the different areas in the industry, it would simplify things, right? And the more simple, less consulting's needed.
You wouldn't need a guy with a lantern leading you if the lights were on. So
yeah, if everybody just knew here's the rules, right?
Yeah.
And they're all the same, regardless of the sponsor you work with.
And that's one of the reasons why we started our services, is to provide some light and at an affordable price. Like this is not extortion we're talking about.
But again, like Dan said, we created this service for ourselves because it really aggravated me for the first 5 years and how things were so different from sponsor to sponsor. And it could be from documentation to budgeting, right? It's different everywhere.
Yeah.
So
I think
that's my complaint.
My wish, it's not a complaint. My wish.
That's my complaint.
Yeah, no, I love that one though. I think the question's like, what's your wish for saving our sites? Something like that, right?
Well, this would save the sites, right?
Yeah, no, yeah. I think from like just a macro bird's eye view of like doing this since 05 full time, research has the potential to be fun. Like not everything's fun. Entering data, answering queries, that's not fun. But as a whole, if you compare research to standard of care, it still has the opportunity to be fun, whether it's the patient interaction themselves or whether it's how you treat your staff. Research is very forgiving and research has a lot of options for creativity. And what I see is the bigger the sites get, the more they try to mimic traditional healthcare settings, which takes the fun out of what we do. Like we're supposed to be boutique. This is supposed to be like, I took patients on field trips to Angel games before. Like what healthcare, like what standard of care i- is that ever an option outside of research? It never is. But in research, I was actually encouraged, think outside the box. How are you going to entertain these patients while they're in this inpatient study? We allow field trips. Oh, okay. Well, let's go to a baseball game. Then let's go to the beach the next day. And you can do the same thing with your staff. Judy takes all her staff every year to Mexico. Like, what health office does that? Like, so I think we need to think of ways to differentiate ourselves from traditional healthcare rather than trying to pretend that we are the same thing. And sadly, I think the industry is trying to get to where healthcare and research are integrated somehow. And I guess there's good about that too, but the bad part is you're taking the fun out of research, which at the end of the day, like, is a huge missed opportunity in my opinion.
So mine kind of complements with yours, but if I had one Christmas wish about how we could save our sites, it would be that we never lose another life that research could have saved. And that kind of goes into the scalability of the healthcare integration. It would be really hard to treat every single patient if we were to open up access to research to everyone. It would be really hard to give that kind of a boutique experience to literally millions of people. So that's kind of where I really hope that we can offer clinical research at least access to millions of people who currently don't have it because our sites don't have the infrastructure for it.
Yeah. And it's all related to Miriam's initial question of like, well, a lot of this is related to that. Like patients are, feel like they're guinea pigs. You can't give coffee or cookies to doctors here. Well, so what? A coffee and a cookie's not going to get a patient in the study. It's the act of learning who this person is on a human level. So figure out within the laws what you are allowed to do, and you can get creative while still following regulations.
Yeah, I mean, go Dutch with the doctor if you have to. You don't have to give them anything. Just spend some time with them, and they'll give it to you.
Hey man, family show, man.
Come on, Dan, you're killing me here.
Best learning in 2023. Oh, we had a long comment, but what? Okay, maybe we'll go around real quick. What's the biggest takeaway, Brad, from 2023 in your?
Ooh, I mean, this is hard. And I think after, an FDA audit, I mean,
Oh, how'd that go, by the way? Sorry.
yeah, no, it went surprisingly well. Well, I mean, it wasn't surprising that it went well, but it went a lot smoother than I expected. And
That was your first, right?
it's my first, as this company. I sat in on some in the past, but I didn't really like run the show. This was one where like I ran the show, obviously my site. So yeah, it was the first one. And we, not going to be any action indicated. There were a couple of like small observations, but I don't think they're going to even make it into the write up. So it went great. And
Well,
but what I took away from it was, cover your ass. Do make sure that you're staying audit ready, because we were expecting it, which I think had a lot to do with why we were so successful. But the stuff I picked up on that was like, you can't just trust the vendors and the sponsors. This is on you as the site. Make sure that your business is in order and you're doing everything correctly and justifiably. So never, don't sleep. Don't sleep. Stay on your business and stay audit ready.
So, if I can, Brad, a couple questions. Did the sponsors send out, because supposedly they send out a team, right? A couple people that that go over all of the different documents, regulatory and source documents. Did they do that or no?
So we had a mock audit like in preparation of this. We were like far and away the highest enroller. It was just a no-brainer that we were going to get audited. So they had actually sent out an ex-FDA auditor to come out, do like a mock audit.
Okay.
Everything was already pretty clean. We've also had a CRA coming almost monthly for like a year and a half. So everything had been looked over just
thoroughly.
Almost, yeah. I mean, too much, frankly, but yeah.
Okay. And then just one more question. Did you follow the general rules of when the FDA auditor is talking to you, you just try to answer yes, no, and no additional details?
No. Yeah. And
No,
we
you
did
were
a
much more
podcast
open
about this, but yeah, I was like, hey man, let's talk. Like I got an FDA auditor here. I want to pick your brain. Like, tell me some
Sure.
stuff. And honestly, I think it helped. I think it helped that it let me sort of display that like I know what I'm doing a little bit, just through this course of conversation, but also is just like humanizing. I mean, they're just a
Certainly.
human being,
opposed to being a robot and treating the person like they're a robot.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, I did not. I mean, obviously I didn't, say anything stupid, but they weren't trying to trap me with trick questions. I mean, it was just, just being a normal human being.
Just having a normal like a CRA, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
To a CRA. Probably the same openness, same type of conversation, right? You're not trying to get yourself in trouble, but you're trying to be friendly and
honest. I mean, look, everybody makes mistakes. We had enrolled,
certainly.
We had consented 80 patients. We had implanted almost 40 patients in the study. There's a ton of documentation. She found somewhere in the EDC that like a number was off, transcribed incorrectly. Well, okay, yeah, obviously we missed that, so we'll fix it. And nobody, it didn't affect any endpoints. Nothing terrible happened. You've got millions of data points, so yeah, it's not going to be perfect every time.
Well, thank you for the information. That's one thing I'm very curious about is FDA audits. Never experienced one. Knock on wood, I don't really want to. But I get asked about them a lot, so I just can't offer much information. So
I did an hour-long pod with Brad. We can send it to clients that ask you. I'll send you the link.
Okay, good. Yes, please do.
I asked them like everything I wanted to ask. Selfishly.
Please do. Please send me the link.
I will. And what about you, Chris? Best learning takeaway from 2023?
2023 was such a blur. I mean, it really is true what they tell you. The older you get, the faster time goes. The year seemed like it lasted maybe 2 months.
Einstein was right, man. Relativity.
What did I learn from 2023?
Folgers sucks.
Sure, but I was guessing we were going something more in the vein of research here.
Yeah,
but
it could be anything. But yeah, vein of research would be preferable.
I don't know. It's just a standard I live by. Just try to be yourself.
I like that.
It's just don't get caught up in. I mean, you guys are all on YouTube. I don't know if I would call you famous, but you have a little more notoriety. So it could apply to you as well. Just be yourself.
I like that. Fox, what about you? Biggest takeaway, man?
So first, Chris, I always thought if you think about it, the older you get, every year that you have is a smaller fraction of your life.
Mm-hmm.
If you're 2 years old, a year is half of your life.
Exactly.
Of your life. So by the time you're 50, you're 1/50th of your life is a year. Of course, it seems much, much smaller compared to your overall experience.
Yeah.
I could have said a lot of things on this one, but I think the biggest one that I ran into was the longer you're in this industry, the more you're like, okay, I can't be surprised by anything. I think I've seen it all. And then it surprises you. It comes back and it hits you as something like, wow. So the one thing that I'm still trying to learn is never assume anything. If you're going to run into full email boxes from global CROs, you're going to run into an industry that is so volatile that one day we're all trying to go to a pharmacy, trying to be part of trials. The next day that pharmacy closes down. And you're going to run into all these things. But importantly, the more you assume, the less secure you are internally at your site. If you take control and you just don't assume anything and you call all the shots. Okay, I expect to hear from this global CRO next week. I will follow up until they do. If you control your logistics and you stop assuming everyone knows what they're doing or everyone is talking to each other, because I guarantee you, your regulatory global people are not talking to your contract global people. You are the babysitter of the global CRO. Stop assuming and control your trial at your site. It doesn't matter how multi-site global it is. It's on you to do it right. And I think that's the biggest thing that I run into a lot of the sites that we work with that get into trouble is they assume that other people are doing things when they're not, and it's the site's responsibility.
Yeah.
That's similar to Brad's finding with FDA, right? You don't rely on your vendors and CROs, and that might be my biggest learning of 2023 is that the industry is actually not united. Like on the surface, everyone's, oh, we're all in this for the patients. No, you're not. Anyone who says the industry is in it for the patients has not lived through enrollment targets have been met. Anyone in screening should be screen filled. Like they haven't lived through that because those are not patients to that sponsor or CRO. Those are numbers. And to the site, those are patients. So the industry is not united. That's probably the biggest discrepancy there. Is like we're actually the patient advocates. And that's probably the biggest. I don't know if it's a surprise, but my biggest learning of this year is the sites are the patient advocates and no one else. And that's that. Tracy. Sorry, Fox and Chris. This is a big comment. Community comment. 100% agree. However, many of the investigators don't have protected time to deal with all the moving parts of research. Investigator fatigue is real. Under talked about issue. I have 20 years on the site side, recently joined the CRO world, and this idea isn't on the radar. Everything we ask of sites represents time spent. We need to explore how we can make research more feasible in the community, as well as how to get those smaller sites noticed in site selection. And question cuts off, but we feel your pain. I know. And Brad and myself, and I think Fox, we always say this. I don't think a research site is like a very scalable business. There's way easier businesses to scale than a research site.
I think that's why though you're seeing like people like us, like we come in to help make that easier. Like the way I see my job is removing as much burden as humanly possible from the physician, obviously ensuring they still follow the rules, have oversight. Like that's how I see the reason for why I exist. I mean, to go back to Chris's point, it's sort of like in some ways we're blessed that there's not a lot of standardization and that this isn't easy. It's not good for the world that it's so hard, obviously. But I mean, in a large part, that's why we are able to be successful in what we do, because it's not well understood and it's not easily done. Now, my gripe about that is like, fine, I say just pay for it, pay for the time. And I think you would end up with more success overall because, as soon as you see that a study's not going to enroll or might be hard, I'm going to bail and go to the next one. Or I know I'm going to get paid for the work that I'm doing versus, the sort of sunk cost fallacy of like, well, we're already in it. We might as well keep sinking more lost time. Anyways, that's another rant, but sorry.
Hey, gentlemen, I have a 10 o'clock call and he just got on, so I got to drop off. It was nice chatting with all of you.
Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year, Chris.
All of you.
Thankful for you.
Likewise. Thank you.
We will see.
Have a good day, and everybody thank you for watching.
Thank you, Chris.
All right. Bye.
I may be needed on that call, but we haven't even announced any of the stuff. Maybe we keep it. Well, you read a few of the things, right? You read a few of the comments. Darshan, I know, man. We got you, man. Come on, you can come on the next one. Maybe tomorrow. You guys down to do this to like announce the winners or like anonymously or
Yeah,
or
we can try. Maybe there's some of the winners who'd be willing to come talk about it or be announced when we
It would
announce
be
it.
cool if we could get a couple to come on, and that'd be
Okay.
really cool.
Okay.
If I can reach out to some of these people. So if you're listening and you registered for this, maybe keep an eye at your messages. See if you'd be willing to come on and talk about it. We'd love to hear your story.
And if you haven't, there's still what
Today.
24
Today.
hours? Like midnight's the cutoff, right? Midnight tonight.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Then that's it. Anything else we forgot as we wrap this up?
Mm.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. I mean, we'll probably be here tomorrow talking about this. We'll see what we can do. But it's been a good holiday. Been a good year, everyone. And honestly, I woke up this morning and I thought to myself, a year ago we had an idea, and 1 year later, with a lot of hard work, it's actually a thing. Sites came together from the front lines, and we have over 400 people coming to Tucson, Arizona to talk about saving our sites. And it's because of this team and
That's
a lot of
magic.
hard work.
It's magic. It's nothing short of magic, man. Like I never met either you or Brad in person. If it wasn't for the internet, no one would know me. I'd just be another site owner, just doing my thing. But because of all this stuff like happening at the right time and the right energy, we're able to actually create something. Which is like the process of creation is nothing to sneeze at. This is like life right here. It's a microcosm of life. So it's magical that we're even able to do this.
Well, and I think what you don't see on the back end is all of the people behind it who's making it happen, all of the passionate people. From you've got the blanket fort people, you've got people donating snacks, you've got people running invoices, you've got people coordinating and renting. And what you experience in Tucson is the culmination of an entire community of people who are coming together to make sure that our sites have a voice. And that's the one thing that we're all focusing on. So I think it's really important to understand not only how big this mission is, but also how many people are making it happen. I just got an announcement from one of the University of Arizona professors. They are putting out an announcement so that University of Arizona students in their clinical research programs are going to come volunteer at
Wow.
Save Our Sites. So when I say this is literally a grassroots, everyone's coming together to make a difference, it's from everywhere.
And this is year one. This is year one. We're just crawling right now.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many sponsors said, yeah, we don't sponsor a first year conference. It's not going to happen, which means a second year conference, you'll probably have more sponsors, which means we can put more money into our community and make a better experience.
Wait till we figure out there's a business model of doing this. Like we're just doing this because
I mean, some people do have that figured out.
some people got
Yeah.
that figured out
Too well. They have it figured out too
Yeah.
well.
Too well.
Yeah, we don't want to turn into that.
We want to figure it out for self-sustainability and to continue to give back better and do more. But yeah, it's crazy, guys. But thank you both for being involved and everyone for watching and supporting. And even if you bought a ticket and are not coming, we appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, and thank you everyone for your support. This is definitely the project groundswell that we needed for 2023.
And if you haven't got your hotel now, I suggest Airbnb and don't wait too long. Like, subscribe, comment, share. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Same channel. Bye-bye.